What is that, John?
The Nashoba Brook. That's how we got the name. Surprise, surprise.
So does this mean the bakery began when you started here? You haven't been anywhere else?
It does, that's right.
What was that year?
1998. We actually had a place in Cambridge where we were living, and we were looking for a place to put the bakery. So it was a little bit of a situation with a cart in front of the horse. And so we started doing concentric circles out from Cambridge. And we arrived one day in West Concord, and we pulled up in front of this building, and we saw the building, and we walked around behind it where we're sitting now. And I turned to Stu and I said, this is it. And so the first reason was completely instinctive, and it had to do with what you're looking at in the background here. It had to do with that footbridge, the Nashoba Brook, this stone retaining wall, and this essentially bomb-proof building, which is just a fantastic old industrial building. As we began to think more about it, it also made a lot of sense because West Concord sits on top of Route 2, so there's a direct artery into Boston. It's also halfway between 128 and 495, both of which loop to the South Shore and to the North Shore. So as a distribution point to the greater Boston area, West Concord is really pretty ideal. And in part it was just, really good luck. But what we did was we thought we're going to put an artisan bread company in the building, and then we're going to have a place where the people who love our bread can come and sit and can come and be in the environment where we're making bread. So we created a cafe that is to bread what a brew pub is to beer. You can kind of look in on 6,000 square feet of bread making operations, but it was never our intention to have the retail business be a huge part of what we were doing. It was always the design from the beginning that the wholesale artisan bread company was who we were. And of course, part of what's happened is that people now come, and because there's not really any signage, and you find this place and you walk down a long hallway and then it opens up into a cafe that looks out over wooded wetlands, stone retaining wall, the Nashoba Brook, and the wooden footbridge in the background here, people feel like they've discovered something. And so the cafe itself has become quite a substantial business. And although that was never really our intention, we're not disappointed that it's turned out that way. But we also like keeping the character of it being kind of a secret. It's not that we're trying to keep it a secret. That would be totally misdescribing it. I mean, it's more that we like the character of that oh wow moment that people have. I can't believe this was here, as you just described yourself. That brings them back. People like that. We have essentially two different businesses. We have a retail bakery outlet and cafe, and then we have a wholesale artisan bread company that distributes bread throughout the greater Boston area. Anybody that either uses or resells artisan bread is a potential customer for us. So it could be a restaurant, it could be a grocery store, it could be a gourmet market, it could be a cafe, a deli, a sandwich shop, a college, a high school, a cafeteria in an office building. It could be another wholesale food business. It could be a caterer. There's really quite a wide breadth of potential customers for our products.
So this sounds like a lot of bread. How many employees do you have?
We have about 40 employees, and we make about 4,000 loaves of bread a day. And we're adding production capacity. So right now on a Friday night, our existing oven, which is 3 decks and 9 doors, will be full of bread 18 out of 24 hours. So in January, we're adding a second oven that same size into the existing space. It'll go right next to our first oven, and it'll double our production capacity. We don't really have any design to grow tremendously past that. Maybe someday we might add a third oven, but really our business instincts aren't in the typical, Wall Street financial guy mode. We don't have the exit strategy mentality. For us, a huge measure of success would be if someday Stu's son, one of his sons and one of my sons or one of our daughters were to take over and run this company and continue this tradition.
What are the chances?
I think that they're good. I think the kids are really proud of what their dads have done, and they all feel invested in Nashoba Brook Bakery, and no one eats more of our bread than my family. I know that's true. This is our packaging center. This is where all of the finished bread comes to be packaged. So essentially what we do is we bring the bread back. Here. Maria and Hector, you can see, are already packaging some of the rolls from last night. But we'll bring the bread back in here. It'll go back against that wall. And as it's ready, it'll be brought around to here. So So this will be the first oven that came out today on this rack. And then we'll slice and package bread. The bread will be packaged into bags and onto trays.